Hello guys, this is Ted coming to you with another video. I just received in the mail this Stanley cook pot, and I think it's going to take the place of my Foster's can. It's stainless steel and it's hard, I mean it's sturdy. Okay, here's where I'm going with this. I've got this little mini bowl. This was an M5 that he doesn't make anymore. I think it's his best stove. Anyway, it's got a little pot stand on it, which will hold this. Well, I bought an Emberlit and I was going to use it as a windscreen when I'm hiking, which you don't have to, but you can't. But notice this pot fits down in there. So in order to keep it from just sliding in, you don't, and using the X, whenever you're using an alcohol stove, this has its own pot stand built in. So I'm going to try that. Drop this into the stove. See if I can get this fuel line out here. Put that in the stove like that. Then this will fit right on it. So here's where we're at. I'm going to just light the fire up here. Let me get some water going. I'll see if I can see what I'm doing. Supposed to do it till it gets a little moisture in it. Now I'm not going to light it yet. I'm going to open this up. You can see how it does. Locks into place. Has a very nice top, which tops this nice. Sell for about 10 bucks at most of the places. Comes with two of these. Thing's hard as a rock. I mean, you can't move it. And I got me some utensils in here. I have a windscreen that'll fit in here. I also have a pot stand that I can use. But, I mean, it clicks together. But, I don't need those. I don't believe I'm going to need them. I have my little M3 stove, which is another one almost identical to this, but it doesn't have the pot stand. So now, what I'm going to do is cook me up some rice, chicken cube. Rice, usually, I think I want to use at least twice as much water as I did rice. So I'll dump it in. Try it like this, and we'll see how she goes. I may edit out some of this wasted time, but meanwhile, and here is a chicken bouillon. Throw that in. And let's see how she fits. Well, let's light her up first. Oh, I got a lighter in here. She's lit. She's lit, buddy. Now, I don't know if you can see that. Now, this is on glass, so I'm not sure if I should do it that way. I think I should put something under to absorb a little bit of the heat. In case it gets hot. I don't know if it gets hot or not. Put a little piece of newspaper under the stove. And this was unplanned for, of course. This Stanley pot here. I'm going to lift the stove up just a little so I can get some paper under it. I'm curious to know if it gets hot enough to light. You know, I don't think it will with an alcohol stove on it, but basically I'm just going to insulate it from this glass. Now, I'll put this on here. It goes down until it hits. That thing's not going nowhere. I mean, you couldn't spill it if you tried. So I'm going to stir it up. Boy, there's some heat coming off of this thing. That stove puts out. Bring this to a boil. very nice top on here. So as far as I can tell, that's pretty good. So I'm going to let her crank like that. I might zoom in a minute. I did bring out a little bit of carbon felt, which I like having this stuff, and tuna. Bumblebee tuna. This is 2.5 ounces, so I'll cook that up. When I get done, I'll throw the tuna in once the rice is done. I'm going to get my phone out so I can time the rice. I think you're supposed to cook it for at least 15 minutes. So I'll get me a timer going. Timer, stopwatch. Boom. So really, we don't need this other than just put it over here out of the way. But I do feel this Stanley cook pot is an awesome addition. Instead of having the plastic holder to protect my Foster's pot, this is a little heavier, but buddy, it ain't ever gonna break. You could stand on this thing. So there we go. I've started it. Now the only thing you have to do with these stoves, you got to watch them. As the flame turns yellow or orange, I guess it would be, you just refuel just a little bit until the flame comes out all the way past the edge. Once that occurs, it's fully fueled. Then it backs off and brings any fuel that's in there out, back into the fuel can. That way, I can't even see a flame in there. That way it stays hot. If you don't refuel it, it'll just simmer. Man, it's hot up here, way up here, very hot. That's where your carbon felt comes in. If you have to hold on to the pot, you can hold here. This may be hot. No, this is not hot. Not here. Maybe as you approach the pot it will be. But as it is, I can put that on there. In case I want to lift it, I've got something. Anyway, it's a new setup. I'm going to cut away and let this thing come to a boil and maybe simmer for a little while. I think you bring it to a boil and then let it simmer for maybe another 15 minutes and then your rice will be ready. So I'm going to give it a try. I think this setup, working together, should be awesome. So I'll talk to y'all. I'll edit in what the results was. Okay, I think I got the recorder going again. It's been 7 minutes and 50 seconds. This thing was boiling at around between 3 and 3.5 minutes. I'm talking a hard rolling boil. So much so it overflowed the top and I had to remove this. So that M5 stove cranks it inside of here. All the heat is being put right into this pot. And actually I hadn't refueled it again. I'm waiting. And it's simmering beautifully. I didn't want to overdo it. Basically, it's working good. So I thought I'd let it go for a few minutes. A lot more junk out here than I needed. It's real hard to tell what the stove's doing, but the flames are down into the center of the stove. And this breeze is blowing. It's still simmering. I guess as long as it's simmering, I'll let her go. Then he said these stoves will simmer for about 8 to 10 minutes without refueling at all. Now check the simmer mode. I'm going to see how she's doing. And it's bubbling very slightly, so I'll refuel a little bit. This wind blowing is affecting it, I believe. I have the Emberlit. The entrance to the Emberlit is facing the wind. I just put a little fuel in there, just enough to keep it simmering. Should go. Well, my clock keeps cutting off. which that's a frustration. I got it set to save battery power, but it cuts off by itself. Unless you use something, it cuts off. 9 minutes and 44 seconds. So simmering away. Let me check my rice. It's getting thicker. It's getting thicker. Looks good too. Bought this titanium spork on Amazon. It's supposed to be gold colored. I like it a lot. So if you're thinking about getting one, I think you'd enjoy it. It's hard. It's really hard. Good metal, but it's light, very light, and it's long enough that you can reach down into a pot. So it's longer than like what I'm using for plastic spoons. So this thing is much better. This M5 stove is cranking a simmer. I mean, no problem. Hardly uses any fuel. Now, I had this thing, I don't know, I probably had 2 ounces, maybe 3. I don't know what's in it. Whatever it is. I can sit here and listen to the bubbling, and if it starts to decrease, I can add a little fuel. This clock just won't stay on. Trying to save my batteries, I guess. Well, this little pot came with it. I mean, little drink holder came with it, which I may get me some water in it. While I'm here, I might as well do something. Need a drink of water. I think this simmering is going good. I don't know if you can hear it on the camera because the speaker on there is not that great as the microphone. I got me a little squishy bowl. I think this is really neat. And I have some carbon fiber that you can use for a windscreen. Like you could just set it up here. But I use it for either a windscreen without the Emberlit. You'd use it as a windscreen. But with the Emberlit, you don't need it. Or if you want to do anything, you do that. Just throw it in front of the big hole. But even with this breeze today, it didn't affect that much worth fooling with. So, let's see what the film is showing here, if I'm on film. Can't see that much flame or anything with this lighting the way it is. So here we are. Maybe I can move this over some. I don't know if I can even get me in the film here or not. Maybe a good thing if I don't. I'm going to stop it for a little bit. Well, we're back to 15 minutes now. So I thought what I might do, and this thing's simmering good. I mean, I've only refilled it like twice total, and I just put a little bit of alcohol in it. So you can see I have used some. I don't know if you noticed it when I started, but I didn't use much. But I'd say it's done. That little breath of air, I think, blew it out. Slight breath of air. Now, let's check this out. Ooh, it's hot. See that? This paper did not get hot, and even the base of this stove, I can hold my finger on it. You know, I could pick it up. It's not hot, so basically it doesn't really need to be insulated from the table glass on the table. So even the handle on here is not hot. So there we go. Let's see if we can see what we got. It looks like rice, and it's very soft. It's not burnt, not stuck. It's funny how I always seem to forget to turn off the phone portion. I think there's a little rice stuck in the bottom, which might make it kind of hard to clean. I believe this one's big enough to get your hand in a little for cleaning, where Most of the little stoves we have or we deal with, they're not. So here we go. Rice, very moist, cooked well. And we'll take some tuna. It has chicken flavor in the rice now because I put a chicken bouillon cube. I might taste it as it is. Ooh, it's hot. It actually tastes pretty good. Got chicken taste. Kind of like using ramen with their flavors. One of those little cubes. Probably don't need all this, but there's a lot of tuna in here. Get out all the goodies. But that's it, boys. Simple rice meal. Stir the tuna in with it and mix her up. So I've got a tuna and rice with a little chicken flavor, but it's moist as can be. I just used a pill bottle right there full of rice with one chicken cube in the top and used twice as much water, and it comes out pretty much perfect. So in my opinion, other than it's hot, very hot. Oh man, that tuna really added a lot of flavor. So this is Ted, enjoying my meal, my mini bull design stove. This is an M5. He don't make no more, but he's got plenty of other stoves. I like the fact that it has a little stand built onto it if you want to use it, and it will work with the Emberlit quite well. And I think the shape of the Emberlit stove keeps all, that's cool already, keeps all the heat inside, and it comes up the side of this pot and it can't go anywhere. So it's kind of like the Tricaldera design. I think it's the same principle, but using this in place of a beer can, this Stanley pot is indestructible. Anyway, still got to clean all the mess when you're done. But meanwhile, I'm going to eat this and enjoy my lunch, and thanks for watching, guys. This is Ted. Cat smells the tuna. This is Ted out. See you next time, boys. See if I can get up and turn this thing off.